thoughtful ideas, suggestions for guests and topics.
Great events, programs, and
Welcome to this week's segment of Dialogue Houston. We're so glad that you could join us for this week's show. We're here now every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Again on Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. As always, at the top of the hour, let me thank you for your thoughtful calls, emails, and text messages concerning previous shows we've aired here on ACC TV, but particularly your ideas for topics, guests, and subjects to be covered on upcoming segments of Dialogue Houston. After all, this is your community affairs, public affairs show proudly now in its 28th season. We look forward to you joining us as we expand our understanding of issues that we're facing here as Houstonians in our great community, and those things that can help us have input and awareness of the things that are going on. This is a wonderful special segment of Dialogue Houston that we do from time to time with our wonderful friends and partners of the Houston Public Library. And this particular segment is called Living in New Knowledge. And really that comes from the link card. The link card is your public library card, and if you do not have one, everyone should get one. The link card is a way to assess all the wonderful programs, projects, materials, videos, you name it, we have it for you at the Houston Public Library, and it starts with you getting your link card, and please just go online, HPL, and do that. Joining me this week from the Houston Public Library are two wonderful ladies involved with a great segment of our population in the teen and children's service area. We have with us today Sara Pope, who is the Children's Service Coordinator, and Rebecca Denham, who is the Team Services Coordinator. Glad to have them both here, and because it is summer, they normally have all kinds of great things going on all year round, but because it is summer, we got a lot of stuff happening at HPL that they're going to tell us about and share with us. Again, so great to have you both, Sara and Rebecca, on this afternoon. So Sara, I think we're going to start with you. And we'll just kind of talk about the wonderful things that are happening at HPL.
This summer, we have our Houston Public Library's annual summer reading program happening. It's sponsored every year by the John P. McGovern Foundation. It's a really great opportunity for kids to explore interests outside of school. We're trying to build that habit and love of reading, so we are rewarding kids for logging their days of reading this summer. Youth from ages 0 to 18 can participate. It's a free program. You don't necessarily have to live in Houston. If you're in the surrounding area, we're welcoming you as well. You can register for our reading program at houstonlibrary.beanstack.org. It's BEANSTACK. It's just a really great way for kids to just keep that reading habit going and avoid that summer slide.
The summer slide is a very important thing. It was before COVID-19, and now in this past school year, it really has made a difference, particularly for many children of color who did not have full access to learning opportunities. So I'm so glad that you mentioned the summer slide. And I think the outreach we're doing to various neighborhoods, to our neighborhood libraries, to get children across the city involved. I remember when I grew up in my little town of Orange, Texas, the summer reading program through our library is what made our summers. We had a great competition with great rewards and prizes at the end of who could read the most books. And you also had to give a synopsis of the book. You couldn't fake that you read it. You had to give a real explanation of the book. So it does make a difference to have that. And kudos to HPL for reaching out to the various communities to make sure they're covered. So what do you see as the next step in the summer reading program? I know it's all about outreach now, right? And getting people to sign up.
Yeah, right now we are working on just getting as many kids participating as we can. Obviously last year with COVID, we had a huge drop in participation. It was just a strange year for all of us. We're trying to rebuild that audience this year. So we've got a couple of new things that we're trying. One thing is we are doing virtual programming throughout the summer every Tuesday at 10:30. We have a new performer that we've never before seen at the Houston Public Library. It's been a nice opportunity for us to not be able to have in-person programming in a way, because it's given us the opportunity to get some national acts that we might not otherwise be able to host. So we have a lot of different animal programs and a balloon artist, science, comedians, music. We have all kinds of things. So that's every Tuesday at 10:30. And since it is a Zoom program, you can register at our events calendar, houstonlibrary.org/events, or you can also catch the program sometimes on Facebook Live. So we'll air them kind of concurrently. So we're hoping to get a bigger reach in that way and give kids a fun thing to do while they're at home. Another thing that we're trying this summer is we're doing some really cool weekly drawings as incentives for logging those days consistently throughout the summer. So every week we're doing 4 different drawings for different age groups. We have an age group for babies and toddlers, one for kids, one for tweens, and one for teens. And every day logged in that week is another entry into our virtual drawing. So we'll draw a name. So if you log 7 days, you have a greater chance of winning. So we did our first week's drawing recently, and all the people seem really excited who won. So I'm hoping that that's going to build some more interest in keeping that logging going consistently. For our prizes for our summer reading program, we always give away books because we know that books in the home are so important.
Yep.
So we're going to give away books at 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, and 30 days of reading. So that means all youth have the opportunity to add 4 books to their home library. So whether or not you win a weekly drawing, you can earn some books just for logging that reading.
Wonderful. All right, Rebecca, let's turn to you and the areas that you cover and the wonderful things that y'all have going.
We're trying something new this year because, again, COVID made everyone pivot. We have 2 different clubs for tweens and teens this year. There's the stop motion film club, where each participant will get a stick-bot package, and they learn how to create stop motion film. They can meet every week virtually online. They don't have to, but they can. And it's a club atmosphere where they'll learn a little bit about the history of animation, how it works, and then they'll also be able to share what they're doing with other participants. We also have the 8-bit video game club, where each participant will get a Block Cells kit and account. So they will learn how to create an 8-bit video game from scratch. And they also have a weekly virtual meeting where they can meet with participants and share what they've learned. We've got a very enthusiastic staff member leading that one who loves video games and is sharing about like the history of video games, as well as something about, how to engineer, thinking about game theory and game design, that kind of thing. So those are 2 things we have going on. We also have our Get Graphic comic creation contest running this summer. It runs through the end of August, and we are inviting middle and high school students to create a comic book for us. Details are online on our fun page. It's www.houstonlibrary.org/fun. We have most everything that we do for youth listed there. And then we also still have our quarantine zine program going on, where we are inviting Houston teens to document their thoughts and feelings and challenges and experiences during the pandemic in zine form and submit them for them to be added to our permanent collection in the teen room here at Central.
You mean that draft of the comic book that I've had in my head all these years, we can make happen this summer?
I mean, if you partner with a teen, sure. They can submit as teams or as individuals.
I guess I'm going to have to find me a team to partner with. Let me just mention also, because of the pandemic and because of everything having to go virtual and online, HPL staff have created some very interesting in-house videos of all kinds of things, which I find interesting. I would sit sometime in the back and while y'all were recording some of them and just listen in a little bit. Tell us about those, because they've turned out to be wildly popular.
Well, the ones that I have been involved in, because I'm mainly teens, is our Lights Out story times, which is our scary story times for older kids and teens. Those air every Friday night at 8:15. You can also find them on our YouTube channel. Some of them are stories from books, like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Some of them are original stories that our staff have written, and some of them are oral stories that are part of the oral storyteller trend, but those ones are really popular. We also this last year launched our very first podcast, and we have a podcast called Chapter 1 with HPL. It features 2 episodes each week, and it's an the first chapter of a book for tweens or teens. So it's sort of like a mini audiobook sampling for books that we have in our collection.
And this is all staff. This is staff being
Yes.
active and getting into some wonderful costumes and getting into the spirit of it. But I have a friend who have young kids, both teens and tweens, who watched the whole, every time one of them come on. And they love it. They said it's been one of the most wildly popular things they've been involved with the COVID-19 stay-at-home being shut in. So let's talk about where you see now with things opening up a little bit, with neighborhood libraries opening at least partially. And so hopefully we'll soon be more and more back to normal, whatever normal will be in a post COVID-19 world. What do you see coming up as we get into past the summer and into the fall?
So I know that we're going to be starting some in-person programming in the fall. We're probably going to be exercising limited attendance and registration through our events calendar. One thing that we're really excited about is that we are going to be opening two new Family Place libraries. So Family Place libraries are welcoming environments for children, young children and their families. So we have one currently, it's the Stimley Blue Ridge Neighborhood Library, but we will be adding the Young Neighborhood Library and the Stella Link Neighborhood Library to the Family Place Network, which is very exciting. The staff goes through a specialized training. There are lots of toys, although we don't know how it's going to look when we first open in the fall. But there is programming associated with it that we're really excited to roll out and try to get back to, you know, having some young children in the library, having fun and enjoying their library experiences. Our other thing is we'll be opening our plaza here at the Central Library, hopefully in the fall. Yay! And there will definitely be some programming around there. Youth Services is cooking up.
Let me ask this also, because one of the parents that I told them HPL was going to be on the show this week, come and ask this question. Is Storytime coming back?
Yes, Storytime will be coming back. For right now, we are still maintaining that virtual presence.
Right.
And even when we go back to in-person programming, we will still have a virtual presence. So, you know, sometimes it's really hard to get your kid going in the morning. Maybe an online Storytime is a better choice for you. Also recently, Central Library has started doing Zoom programming. So they're offering Zoom story times that are live story times with them.
Oh yeah, they're fun. They're fun.
They're going really well. They've had a great response. They're thinking they may be continuing that throughout, even when we go back to kind of normal programming. But Storytime is definitely coming back. I know all of our staff just can't wait to get back to it because we miss all our kids.
Yeah, everybody. I think it was a great thing for everyone, for staff, families, and the kids who actually got to participate and be there. And be on the rug, as they say, be on the mat. Where's my mat? Can I get down on my mat and listen to the stories? Let's talk a few minutes about the nature of libraries were changing before COVID-19. It's not what people think anymore vis-a-vis books and stacks of books and et cetera, et cetera. The world of librarianship has really moved into some new areas and some new arenas, as I mentioned even before COVID, but particularly since COVID. Where do you see the wonderful world of librarianship going? I mean, it's really a evolving, everyday kind of process.
I think that we are definitely going to be moving beyond our physical walls more in the post-COVID world. In-person programming in the library is coming back, but I think that we've also realized that getting into people's homes, whether it's through virtual story times or our activity kits that people can register for and then complete at home, or doing outreach at schools, we need to not be locked into our buildings. I think is something that's going to change a lot moving forward. And I know that's part of our conversation looking at next fall and the next school year. How are we going to address our out of school time programming? Is it going to be just in the library? Are we going to partner with schools and go offer things there? That kind of stuff. So I think that is some of it. I also think that there's a lot more social services in librarianship now. We have to be trained for trauma-informed care, basically, at this point. We have all, as a species now, beyond just everyday life trauma, experienced a collective trauma. And our staff are getting training, but will continue to receive training about how to work social emotional learning, development, healing into the programs that they offer.
Mhm.
The library is supposed to be a safe place for children to explore the world around them, and we want to make sure that our staff are well prepared to facilitate that exploration.
Yeah, very good points. Sarah?
One
Question?
thing that has been kind of a trend before COVID, but social workers in libraries has been a big thing, just trying to connect people to services. Librarians, we aren't experts in, we can't give like legal advice, we can't give medical advice, we can't do any of those things. We can connect people with resources, and that's what we've always done. That's what we'll continue to do. But I think the presence of social workers in libraries has been really a boon for, reaching communities that need the help and may not know where else to find it.
Libraries and their communities have such a special relationship. One of the people I was talking to, again, as we mentioned that we'd be doing this today, said the biggest joy that her community used to have is when the bookmobile showed up. When the bookmobile showed up and they pitched the tents and everybody kind of stayed there for a while in the parking lot and got to know each other and talk with each other, she said, people don't realize that's the presence of the bookmobile in a community that is under-resourced and underbooked. Is such an important thing to have it come to them. As Rebecca was saying, not only do you come to us, we'll come out to you. And I think she said every time the bookmobile appeared or the mini bookmobiles appeared, it was just such a wonderful thing. They'd call around and tell people, the bookmobile's here, so come bring your kids, etc., and do stuff. She said in the summer, she compared it to the ice cream truck. When the ice cream truck came, everybody came out. So it's the same kind of thing. But that's really a good thing to have in communities, particularly communities of color and poverty that doesn't have they don't have books in their homes.
Yes.
Reading is important, but reading somehow and does not end up being paramount. And so the ability to have accessibility to books is really important.
Yes. Librarians in the U.S. Historically have always gone above and beyond to get books into the home. It used to be that the librarian would travel on donkey back up into the mountains to serve, hard to reach communities. And now we're doing everything we can to get out into our communities. We have our community engagement team that they're the ones who run our bookmobile, and they will go anywhere in the Houston area that they are requested. And, we use them to also help serve some of the communities that are still impacted by libraries that are closed because of Harvey, like the Kendall Library. They've been going there and running story times and offering checkout services.
And we're doing a lot of creative things in the area of literacy too, aren't we? This recent initiative with the Barbara Bush Foundation on Literacy, I think is going to make a major step in that. But literacy is still a major issue in our community, and particularly for some communities over others. And I know we're trying to really develop more and create more opportunities to address the challenges and issues of literacy in certain communities. I know through the work that both of you are doing in your respective areas of teens and children, that becomes a real important issue and sometimes a very sensitive issue. It's amazing when I talk to parents, how many of parents' children's playmates or classmates cannot read, or if they can read, they can read barely at a grade level, usually 2 or 3 levels below them. And that becomes a real challenge going forward, does it not?
It does. It definitely does. One of our goals with the summer reading program is that we want kids reading, where they are. So if they are behind reading level, if they're encouraging, reading books that even are below level, and they're getting more confidence, and then they're raising that reading level, that's something that can really help. It's just kind of a habit. It's like exercise that you don't want to do sometimes.
Right.
Like I love reading, but not everybody does. So you got to exercise your brain muscles, and like you exercise the rest of your muscles.
Yeah.
And then that's why part of the reading program is that the rewards are books. We have other opportunities that we're really excited about to help get more books into the home as well. We recently started some book clubs based on some of our Texas reading lists. So we have book clubs basically for ages 0 to 18. Granted, the baby book club is, the babies aren't really reading. It's more for the caregivers. But you know, you should be starting early. You should be reading to your children, even before they can, you know, walk and talk, and before they even start school. So it's really important. So our book clubs, we offer monthly book clubs. We're giving away 50 copies of each book. They're not library books. They're books that they can keep in their home. So it's just another really great opportunity. People can check out book clubs on our events calendar and see all of our many offerings. I started, I did the first one, the baby book club was early this month, and it was a lot of fun. It was mostly sharing early literacy tips with parents, but it was just a nice way to connect with caregivers and a couple babies. I saw a couple babies on the Zoom program. So it's been really nice. And it's just another way that we are working to get books in the home, trying to close that gap, the word gap and the book gap, just to make sure that kids are getting books in their homes.
Let me ask this question in the little time we have left. It's all about incentives, is it not? The young people that I come in contact with, vis-a-vis my friends and others, even in their home, they said, I got to get them off their machines. I got to get them off the Nintendos and the playthings or whatever they may be now, the gadgets and the video games. And she said, the only way I've been able to do that is really to incentivize them. It says, it's a shame that sometimes you have to do that, but once they get off of their machines and start doing other things, they love it. They enjoy it. But to get them to put that little maneuver thing down, the little gadget that, throttle sticks, you can tell my age, I'm giving my age.
I mean, phones and social media in particular are designed to trigger the pleasure centers of our brains. Right. They're designed to release serotonin by their flashing lights and sounds, and you know, they draw your eyes. So of course they're going to be difficult to get someone to put down. One thing I would remind parents of is that your kids are probably doing more reading than you think. If they're on social media and they're doing something other than just watching videos constantly, they're reading. If they're looking up sports stats of their favorite players or celebrity gossip, they're reading, and that counts. Especially during the summer, we aren't overly concerned with challenging our youth's reading levels. We really want to install this love of reading, and in order to do that, reading has to be fun. So let them read what they want to read, and it counts. Same for audiobooks. Audiobooks are reading, especially if your kid has a learning disability or is dyslexic, something like that. Audiobooks can be the way for a child with a learning disability to become a lifelong reader. And those count as reading for the library.
Yeah, we say we don't care what you read, we just want you to read.
Want you to read.
All right, well, you got to be careful with that statement sometimes, particularly for teens. But nonetheless, we have a couple of minutes left. I want to give you both a chance to make closing comments about where you see things headed. I really want to thank you both for being on this special segment of Dialogue Houston, HPL, Living in New Knowledge. And I think that we really are trying to let everyone know of the great things that's happening at your Houston Public Library, but also how you can engage and you can be involved and you can be part of it. It is simply as going online and reaching out to the various websites that they've mentioned, the various email addresses, and taking part and be a participant, not only for the summer and during the summer, but year round in the great programming that we have. So let me give you both a few seconds here to close out your thoughts.
I would just say visit houstonlibrary.org/fun to see all of the things that Youth Services is doing. It's updated constantly. There are lots of surprises on there, and it's been an exciting time for us, but we're working on getting all the fun stuff out. So houstonlibrary.org/fun.
And I would just remind people that the library is for everybody, and we definitely have stuff for your older kids and your teenagers. So check us out, because we have free stuff that is available for you to keep your kids occupied this summer.
And someone that just texted me and told me to ask, what is a tween?
Tween is, they're a little old for the kids programs, but they're not quite teenagers yet. We usually consider them about 9 to 12 years old.
Okay.
So they don't really want to go to the little kids programs anymore.
Oh, no, I didn't when I was that age. Oh, sorry, no. Anyway.
Exactly.
So again, thank you both for being here. Let me just give some closing thoughts and comments. Um, Libraries across this country, and Houston Public Library being a leader in library issues and libraryship, is really the place where community comes together for dialogue and conversation. It is the perfect third-party neutral mediating facilitating institution. We don't have an agenda. We don't have a dog in the hunt. We don't have a particular perspective. We just want people to come together in a safe environment for dialogue and conversations about their community. What do your community want? What do they need? What services do we need to provide for them and to them? How can you get engaged in that creative idea that you have? You bring ideas to us, but we need you engaged in helping that reality, that idea to become a reality by your help and your work and your volunteerism. It is really the source of the nexus of holding and bringing communities together. The library is a perfect place, the central common ground for human beings in a community, and how we utilize that precious gem and gift that we have, that we've been given, is to really understand that we want you engaged, we want you involved. We want you not only to avail yourselves of the services and the programs, but we want to hear from you. We want to understand what your community needs and how you can play a role in making that happen. So I think that as we come out of this COVID-19 environment, as we begin to shift and pivot a little bit back to perhaps in-person stuff, come and share with us, come and participate, come and be a meaningful person making a contribution in your community about how the library can help you achieve your goals in the community. The two greatest assets that any community has is their library and their parks. And to utilize those, because they both bring people together, they both bring a diverse group of people together for understanding of each other, for learning and listening from each other, and to begin to develop common goals for their communities and neighborhoods. I think that as we come out of not being able to be together for so long, that human contact and human interaction that we need from each other and share with each other is going to be more importantly going forward. The central place for that to happen in most communities is the public library. So we expect to have you join us. We look forward to you joining us. Anything we can do to help you in your journey, in your learning. You know, we play off of that word on our library card on purpose, the link card, living in new knowledge. It is about living in new knowledge for all of us. It is about learning something new and different, about being exposed to new people and different people with ideas and perspectives and opinions. It is that sharing of who we are as human beings. It is telling our stories. The beautiful thing about libraries is all about sharing stories. We need human beings to come together in that common safe space, common safe place, and share your stories. Life is just a series of journeys along the stories. So we need you to come share your stories so everyone gets to know each other better and appreciate the wonderful things that human beings have to contribute to each other if we just take the time to listen and to learn from each other. As we go forward, that's kind of where society is headed. That's where reality is headed in a post-George Floyd world. That's where we need to come together. I know of no better place for that coming together, for that sharing, than the Houston Public Library. We have to get out of here for now. They tell me I got to go. So as always, until we come together next time, again, thank you, Sara and Rebecca. Until we come together next time, please be safe, be well, peace, power, and love.